It was prophesied that another Jordan will be born who will be greater than Michael Jordan, but he won't be the MJ of basketball. He will be the MJ of hotels.
Prophecy fulfilled. Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. It is Bruce Jordan, the Michael Jordan of hotels. And today we're going to be talking about income audit and how to protect your revenue. Income audit is extremely necessary to make sure you're protecting the revenue that you're making and bringing in, because there's nothing worse than making a bunch of money and just have it go out the door, because you're not watching your numbers and you're not seeing what you're doing and what's going on. And you're not watching them front desk agents. They make a lot of mistakes at the front desk that will cost your hotel an arm and a leg. So in this video, in this training course, we're going to talk about what we need to do to audit our income and make sure we maximize our dollar. Just a little bit about me. I am Bruce Jordan. I'm the Michael Jordan Hotels. I managed over $1 billion in assets and $300 million in revenue throughout the lifetime of my career. I'm former IHG corporate. I'm an award-winning hotelier. I'm on the top 30 list for the top hospitality podcast. I'm on the top 25 list for the top social media influencer for 2001. And for 2001 and 2002, I'm on the list as the top most powerful hospitality person. Or should I say the top most powerful person in hospitality. I'm on the top 50 list for 2001 and 2002. So I thought that this particular course would be very valuable because I know what it's like missing revenues. And a lot of people, they collect the money, their revenues are misstated because they don't see what's going on and they're not seeing what their front desk agents are doing. And they're just not keeping a close eye on it. So when I go inside of a property, these are a lot of the reports that I check, and these are a lot of things that I do on a daily basis, because at the end of the day, I got to make sure all the revenue is there. Okay. So let's get down to this course, and let me just give you a breakdown of what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be going over in this particular session. So the first thing we're going to be going over is why we need to audit revenue. We're going to go over some reports, including a guest ledger, advanced deposits, credit checklist, hotel transaction journal, the no-show report, the rate variance report, also known as the rate discrepancy report, cash transactions, and of course, the most important is our top guest. So let's get started. Now, the first question we have to ask is, why do we need to audit revenue? I get this question all the time. And the number one reason, of course, is going to be because of stealing. Unfortunately, everybody is not created equally and wasn't raised with the same ethics and values. So therefore, they may find themselves in a pretty bad decision. And of course, the hotel has cash and has revenue, so they feel like they can welcome themselves to it because they work there, or like they call it borrowing. They're not stealing. So we have to audit the revenues to make sure that no one is stealing and that all the money is accounted for. The second reason why we have to audit revenues is because of mistakes. Unfortunately, the front desk makes a lot of mistakes and a lot of posting errors, a lot of guest errors, and so on and so forth. So we want to make sure that everything that we have in our system is correct. All the revenues was posted and recorded properly. All the cash was reposted and recorded properly, and want to make sure that all the credit card transactions balance. And of course, there was no errors. So this is one of the main reasons why we audit revenue. Now, this report right here is called the guest ledger. And what this report tells you, it tells you who's in house, who's checked out, and the balances that they have available on the books. So we could take a look at the first John Doe, who's in room 104. He checks out on the 6th, and he still has a credit balance of 73.48, which means that room and tax has not posted for the next couple of days, which is why he still have a credit balances. You want this report to have credit balances because you want to take payment up front. Now, for those that don't take their payment up front and take their payment at checkout, you're going to see positive balance because room and tax is posting. But because at all the hotels that I manage, I use, a lot of people have been having issues with credit card authorizations. So we take payment up front, so we don't have to worry about a credit card authorization falling off and then not getting paid at checkout. And let me show you one thing real quick here. So here is one thing that I want to look for. Now, if we scroll down just a little bit, you'll notice that there's a no-show charge here, right? This guy right here is a no-show, but he still has a credit balance. What this means is this guy has checked out and room and tax has not been posted. So what we have to do is we have to go in here and post room and tax so we could get a zero balance. When we have a zero balance, it doesn't show up on this particular report. So always check the dates of the check-in and check-out to make sure that the guest is still in-house. If they're not in-house, we need to make sure we fix the issues and the problem that we have on this report. Sometimes a charge is posted and payment is not taken, so it'll be a positive balance, or a guest has checked out and of course they paid, but revenue has been posted and taxes hasn't been posted, which will leave a credit balance. In this particular case, you can see that the money was collected, but the revenue wasn't posted. So that means my revenue numbers are misstated and I need to go in there and post it and fix it immediately. Now, the next report that we have is an advanced deposit ledger. The purpose of the advanced deposit ledger is, like, first we have to say, what's an advanced deposit? An advanced deposit is when someone pays for a room or someone pays for a event or meeting room in advance. Of course, we cannot post those monies as revenues because the event or services has not been rendered yet. So it goes in our advanced deposit ledger, which is an asset on our balance sheet, just so you know, so you can tell your accountant where this goes. So if we take a deposit in advance, we need to know who it's for and when will this money turn into revenue. And that is the purpose of this report, the advanced deposit ledger. So as you can see here, let's take a look at the first one for 65.55. This guy right here, he's paid in advance. He's arriving on the 10th. Once he checks in, we'll go ahead and post this credit that he has on the deposit ledger. We'll post it to his reservation. So this way, it will be removed from this report. And this is how the numbers are removed from this report, is by rendering service or the deposit is forfeited. What we want to check on this report is, one, that we haven't rendered service already and haven't transferred a deposit, because sometimes the front desk forgets to post a deposit. So we want to make sure that that deposit has been posted. And the second thing we want to check is to make sure that the event date hasn't passed and the balance is still on here. Now, usually when someone pays an advance deposit, they're making a commitment. And in that commitment, they're stating that I'm going to be here on this date. If I fail and I'm not here on this date, either you get to keep the deposit, which means that customer, John Doe, forfeits the deposit to us, and is extra cream on the crop, is extra gravy, is extra revenue for us for an event that hasn't even taken place, or for services haven't been rendered, or if it's in the contract for them to receive a refund, then we're refunding the money. But usually it's the deposit gets forfeited and it's just extra gravy for the hotel, at least in the properties that I manage. Now, this report is called the credit checklist. It's not like the advanced deposit, but it kind of reminds you of the guest ledger. The credit, or we like to call it credit report. And it's not one of those credit reports that's ran by TransUnion or Equifax or Experian. This is actually the hotel credit report. And the purpose of this report is if a guest checks in and we authorize their card, it lets us know how much credit they have available on that authorization. Or in this case, since we actually charge the card, it lets us know how much credit is available for the charge that we place on the card. So if you look at the top one, room 103 for John Doe, you see he arrived on the 2nd. He departs on the 9th. According to his folio, he has $84 in credit left, and he has a room rate of $75. What I'm looking for is what you probably see here in room 117 with John Doe, is he has an authorization of $584.56, and his credit balance is going to be $292.26. What we're looking for is over amounts on this report. So let's say if I didn't take enough money or enough authorization to cover the length of his stay, it's going to be on this credit report in the over amount column, letting me know that I need to authorize his card for more money. But since I'm managing this hotel, that never happens. So I never have to reauthorize someone's card or charge someone's card more money unless they extend their stay. And in that case, I'm going to go ahead and charge the estimated charges up front. So the reason why you want to make sure this is checked every shift at the front desk, so everyone knows that there is no money due, and if there is, we get the money immediately, so that everyone has no problem with their paychecks clearing. We have to get the money, and this report lets us know how much money we have and how much more money we need to get while this guest is staying with us. Now, the next report that we have here is going to be the hotel journal detail. There's two of these. There's a hotel journal summary and a hotel journal detail. What this report does, it tells you all the transactions that has been posted inside the hotel for that particular day that you choose and select. So as you can see here, this right here is a pet charge. The transaction code is pet. So these are the pet charges that was posted for our Pacific room for John Doe on 9/1. If you just look at the top of the screen, okay. The next one is going to be this transaction is going to be for code is going to be for room charges. So you're looking at the room charges, you'll see that it says auto. That means the system posted this charge. This was not posted by a person. If you go back to the pet charge, you'll see it says SPAT, which is the user ID of the person at the front desk that posted that charge. But this one was posted by the system. So the auto post I usually ignore because I know that there is no human error here because the system rarely makes human errors. It's humans that make human errors. So those are the transactions that I'm looking for. And the first thing that I'm looking for is duplicate posts, which means there is a transaction that's posted to the same room 2 times. So if I was to go to room 204 on 9/1, which is the first transaction at the top, if I see 2 posts of $15 for the same room, I'm going to wonder, was that for 2 pets? Or was that a duplicate charge, which can potentially leave an unhappy guest to get charged twice. Now, one of the main things that I'm looking for, of course, is I'm looking for adjustments of cash. Okay, so someone posts cash, and I see that there was a cash posting to a room. I want to look at that. I want to look at what adjustments happened to that room. One of the ways I can do this is by either looking directly at the folio once I've seen cash was posted, or I can go to the adjustments section of this report and see was there adjustment to the revenues. And the reason why I'm looking for this is how most front desk agents steal money. What they would do is they would take in cash, let's say $100, and let's say the room and taxes, the total is $100. They would do an adjustment to the revenue and reduce the stay to by $20 or reduce the stay by $50 and pocket the rest of the money. So I want to make sure that that's not happening, especially with cash rooms. So anytime a guest is paying cash, I'm all over it. I'm making sure that there's no adjustments and that the revenue has been adjusted or any other fees haven't been adjusted, and making sure the cash balance that was settled hasn't changed. So this way I know there's no theft and no stealing going on. And the best way to do that is with the hotel journal detail report. Now, this report is called the no-show report. What is a no-show? I think we've all done this before, but I'm going to say it anyway. You make a reservation for whatever reason in the world. You cannot make it, but the room is guaranteed. But you can't make it, so you don't show up. The guests don't show up. What happens when the guests don't show up? It goes as a no-show. It gets recorded as a no-show. And since you guaranteed that room, you will probably end up losing one night room and tax or more if it's a prepaid reservation. So this report shows all the no-shows that are in-house, or should I say not in-house, who failed to show. And it tells me exactly who it was and the amount that this guest is supposed to be charged, or their rate, or whatever the case may be. So the reason why this report is so important, because whether you show or not, at least the way I manage hotels, we charge your card. If you're supposed to show, I held the room for you. You guarantee that you'll be there. I held the room. I did my job. You didn't do your job. It's on you. So we take this money, we take this revenue, and we record it as no show revenue. A lot of times what happen is the guests would be charged, but room and tax won't post because they're not in-house. Room and tax is only going to post for guests that are in-house. So you'll have this charge, but no revenues posted. So you want to go back and check to make sure that room and tax for the no-show, or at least no-show revenue, was posted, and that the front desk did it manually. I see this all the time. So by not doing this, your revenues are being misstated. You're collecting payment, but you're not recording the revenue. And when you look at this report, this will let you know that, okay, I got to record the revenues. Revenues need to be recorded. And these are the guests in the rooms that I need to record the revenues for. Now, next is going to be the rate discrepancy report, also known as the rate variance report. This report tells me what's going on at the front desk, and if someone is adjusting my rates. I need to know if someone is just lowering rates for no reason, just because they're want to be a good Samaritan with the hotel money instead of their own money. They want to be a good Samaritan and say, hey, you know what? Your rate is $200. You look like a nice guy. You look like a nice girl. I'm going to reduce your rate to $100, and the hotel is going to foot the bill for it. I've seen this happen a lot with front desk agents, and this lets me know if that is going on. Now, if I notice this is going on with the same person, I know that working the front desk is probably not the best job for this person. They probably need to be in a church or some type of religious organization where they can give their own money away and not the hotel money away. Because if the wrong person, if they're doing this consistently, the hotel loses a lot of money. I've seen tens of thousands of dollars being lost because rates are being adjusted, or someone's friends coming in the hotel and they have a whole bunch of friends that's coming to the hotel, and they're just adjusting their rates so their friends can get a cheaper rate, whatever the case may be. So we want to avoid this, and one of the ways we can catch if this is going on is with this rate variance report, which will have the guest name, the room number, and their rate. Now let's take a look at room 216, which is $139.99. What do you see? This one sticks out like a sore thumb. Okay, sore thumb right here. The rate is $139.99. I set the rate at $139.99. But the guest rate is coming up as 0. Why is that? So when I see this, the first thing I'm going to do is confront the individual that checked this person in and adjusted the rate and ask them, why is this guest paying nothing? This looked like this was a comp room, but still, I want to know what's going on with this particular rate. Now here we have another example. We have 3 different reservations, and it looks like their rate was reduced by $40, $30, whatever the case may be, right here. Sometimes what will happen is a front desk agent doesn't know actually how to do the post. So instead of giving a corporate account the corporate rate, they would just reduce the rate. From what I'm seeing here, this is what happened for these particular reservations. There was 3 reservations, probably from a group or a construction company or some type of company. They didn't know how to assign a corporate rate, so they just reduced the rate by $40 or $30. So I know this is valid, but these are the things that you want to check for. Like I said, if I see this is coming from the same person all the time, I have questions, and I may decide like this front desk job may not be for you. You may belong in laundry or housekeeping or someplace else, because the number one job that you have at the front desk is you have to get paid. We have to collect the money. A majority of money, I'll probably say 80 to 95% of it, is made and lost at the front desk, which is why you have to make sure you audit those revenues thoroughly. Now, I just want to take a quick second to talk about cash transactions. Unfortunately, at least right now, until we start accepting cryptocurrency or some other form of currency besides credit cards, cash is just going to be a necessary evil. Everybody still carries cash for the most part, and it's just something that we have to deal with. The number one thing that you need to do is make sure you have an effective cash handling policy when it comes to guests and dealing with cash. I know a lot of hotels that just said, you know what, I'm not dealing with it anymore. I'm tired of making change. I'm tired of the employee theft. I'm just not going to have cash anymore. So with that, they're completely cashless. You can't go inside the hotel and pay for anything with cash. It's either credit card or some other form of payment. And it's even like that at the vending machines. So if you're not going to go completely cashless, I strongly suggest that you have a strong cash handling policy for your property. And finally, the best way to make sure that your revenues never go down and stay up is to make sure that your top guests are taken care of. This is a history of the top guests. This one's the top 50, at least the first page of the top 50. And what this report shows me, it lets me know what guests are producing the most amount of revenue for my property. These are the guests that I want to reach out to on a regular basis just to make sure they're happy, they're satisfied, and they're keep returning. I don't want these guests to go to another hotel, so I got to make sure these guests are very well taken care of when they arrive. And sometimes a lot of these guests are business guests that come back and forth for construction or work or audits, or the case may be, at whatever they do for their company. So we got to make sure these guests are taken care of and that they have no problems and no worries, and they feel safe and secure at our location. So make sure that the people that are bringing your business are satisfied. Now, thank you for joining us for this amazing course and an amazing session. If you have any questions or anything like that, please let us know, and I will try to answer those questions as soon as possible. It was great walking you through this and letting you know what you need to do to some of the steps that you needed to audit your income for the income audit, and then make sure your hotel does not lose money and stays in business, which of course is most important. Again, my name is Bruce Jordan, the Michael Jordan Hotels, and it's been my pleasure, and I am signing out. Talk to you soon.